Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show, the final segment. I'm excited about this segment because this is a guy that his life reads like a Hollywood book or a novel that you just wouldn't believe. If they turned it into a movie, you just wouldn't believe it. Come on a little closer to the mic. Brent Atwood is my next guest. I call him a Wall Street whiz, and you are. I mean, how young were you when you struck it rich on Wall Street?
Well, when I passed the seven-figure mark, it was around age 25.
25.
Right. But you know, as a kid, I'm 44 now, I think, because of last week, so I don't think we can use the word kid anymore. But just to give you a little background, I ran my first trade when I was 13. And that was literally my stepfather and his family used to have real estate holdings all through Galveston, South Texas, Houston. And he was frustrated with his investment banker at a larger broker-dealer. And I cut a deal with him one day over the summer and said, well, hey, if I can outperform your broker, will you split the profits with me? And that kind of embarked the career that took me to Bear, took me up to New York, got me training under Paul Hockman Sr., who was a partner at Bear. And eventually, by age 26, I believe it was the youngest CEO of a broker-dealer in U.S. history, and it still has yet to be beat.
Wow. Well, so one of the things that impresses me about you from talking off microphone is the idea that just when you think you've got it all figured out, life knocks you on your butt. What are some lessons in humility from your career?
Like your previous guest, I thought, Wall Street was going to be the entire career. I would die trading. About halfway through my career, I lost my career through a very minor FINRA violation. Didn't know what I was going to do. Again, I was in my early 20s. That's all I knew. I'd been groomed for it. Very, very much, I don't want to say humility, but humiliated. It was one of those things where everything that can hit you at once, from a messy divorce to having to deal with FINRA to running a giant broker-dealer, having all of your clients asking you what's going on, and having to reinvent yourself. And so what basically happened is lost a major portion of my net worth. It actually went negative for a while, almost seven figures, and reinvented myself as going into companies that were pre-IPO or pre-revenue or pre-sales and helping them ramp their operations so that they could get ready for an investment bank to come in and do S-1 filings or get those sales launched or get those companies sold in a private equity deal. And we did that for approximately 15 years. And then my wife had an opportunity to move our entire family back to Dallas, which is when I met Bill Wallace. And basically, he pulled me back out of that realm and said, hey, you need to open a family office back up. You've accumulated some net worth again, and you need to start investing in these companies here in Dallas.
Let's bring Bill into this. Bill, longtime friend of the show, Success North Dallas. How many years have you guys been doing Success North Dallas?
October will be our 28th birthday. And I myself look at it and say, how did this happen? And it's really happened through the people in the room. That's how I met Brent. He came into the room as a guest one day. We got to talking. I got some background. Success North Dallas has now spawned 78 companies, and eQuine Holdings is one of those companies. Well, I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. Well, you're a great judge of character, and you've introduced me to so many quality people over the years. What was it about Brent and his company that attracted you?
Brent, you go back to that old saying, looks like a duck, talks like a duck, it is a duck. Brent talked like a savant, looked like a savant, acted like a savant when he talked about Wall Street, when he talked about numbers, when he started talking big picture, far beyond anything that I could ever imagine. And I came out of the securities industry. I hung up my licenses a number of years ago so we could start funding companies. And then I started introducing him to, I said, what kind of team does this guy need around him? And I brought in several different people that are all one family, the largest family office foundation, I think, in Texas, another group. So we ended up building a team of about 4 or 5 people to surround him. And yeah, everybody at some point in time in everybody's life, somebody has to stick their hand out to them and say, come on. Well, when we said that to this guy, oh my gosh. Not only did he come on, we went back and charted 3 years of history of what he had done. The percents were staggering. We said, So we had it audited. Yes, they are real. I think this year he's up in excess of 500, maybe more percent. It's unbelievable. I'm not sure about talking the exact numbers, but maybe if you want to, Jeff, but what we have seen out of him thus far, and I think this may be the thing that allows us through a different venue, because we're talking about building a technology eco-fund for North Texas and focusing a lot on family offices. And Success North Dallas has been pretty much behind this as well. And I think this may be what we can use to bring the family offices in North Texas together to support our community and to really make a difference. And everything I've thought about Brent, you don't like to say you totally underestimated somebody, but I have totally underestimated his abilities and his sense of the market, his algorithms. He sees things that I, with a room full of scientists, couldn't see.
And Brent, let's get real close to the microphone. When you were in my office the other day, I think I used the expression genius or a beautiful mind. I mean, you really do. You're operating at a completely different level, aren't you?
Well, and when you ask the question, I'll have to give my best friend John Cooley props. I think I said, "Can you ask the question in such a way where I don't have to answer it?" It's just, I see it. And again, at a young age, it was recognized by my instructors in Galveston at Trinity, in military school, all the way to Baylor, and mathematics was encouraged. I don't even remember taking any courses through high school that weren't somehow mathematically related. And so I wouldn't use one of those lofty words, genius, savant. I just wouldn't. I very much enjoy what I do. I very much did not enjoy what I do. Apologies to any firms I worked for as a consultant. Coming back to the family office and opening our own private equity firm. Now I'm jumping out of bed 4 or 5 in the morning, catching what's going on pre-market. I will say that one of the things that I think that I do is unique is even though I have CNBC and Bloomberg and national news running on different screens in the office, they're all muted. I absolutely do not listen to any of the jargon whatsoever. I just watch the screens. And then on top of that, just trade away. And it's not day trading. It's swing trading. It's looking for opportunities. And the specific algorithm that's taking me probably 25 years to perfect actually requires human interaction. It's not something we let loose into the market and do high-frequency trading and hope that we make some type of money, and then we're taking those profits and we're rolling them back into Dallas startups.
Wow. What gives you the most pleasure? I mean, obviously you have this computer genius type mind, but you really love to see companies grow and be able to be a part of that.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a number of facets that come to it rather than just a capital investment. So fortunately, I've had enough opportunity to consult with a number of companies from credit card processing to managing back office, to managing inventory, to the banks stepping in and doing lines of credits and corporate card programs and things like this. So when we look at a company, we look at every single facet of what's going on within that company. And we literally say, how can we shave their credit card payments if they're in a recurring payment model? How can we get them better rates? How can we manage their inventory cycles? How can we help them redeploy through social media? We're looking at every single aspect, and then we're actually helping them manage the money that we're deploying into their company. So we're just not turning them loose with a couple of $1 million in startup capital. We're there advising them as they go, and we're helping them invest those funds, grow the company, and looking for the best routes for them to take. With any of our partners, all the way to recovery audit. Right? We're looking to literally have a very big picture of when we start working with a company.
Bill, you want to jump in?
eQuine Holdings was rolled out a couple of weeks ago as a $15 million raise of interest. And when we looking at a company, there's North Texas does not have the ecosystem where the Series A money is readily available. It's not like your Silicon Valley where you walk down the street and you talk to Joe, and Joe says, this is not really in my wheelhouse, but go down and talk to Terry. Well, by the time Joe gets down to Terry, Terry's already made a decision. He's probably going to fund you because they know what the others do. We don't have that here. We've kind of lost that when we lost our 16th floor where all of the venture capitalists were. So we're trying to be a subset of that and help to build that back up because there's so many great ideas out there, but the capital can't seem to find it because the capital is being directed elsewhere. So we are trying to redirect capital here.
Can your system make money during good times and bad?
So the short answer is no, but the long answer is that's a complicated question. Our algorithm is specifically designed to force short squeezes. So we literally look for a specific situation where a situation is occurring where there's a huge short interest in a particular equity for any reason. There's use of deep in the money calls, which is an illegal transaction to reset reg show violations, and where there may be a short and distort campaign occurring that's artificially depressing a stock price. Good example recently was Pandora. I believe the stock is now up over 100% from its 18-week low. Don't have the data in front of me pulling from memory, but I mean, it was a very big short position. You start getting involved with the company, acquiring shares, and our algorithm looks for about 18 different things that signal to us we need to start researching this company. It's out of whack with where it should be.
For those who don't trade, a short squeeze is when all these people are betting the stock goes down and then it starts to go back up and they have to buy it back real fast and it can zoom in a hurry. Bill, what do you, when he first explained his philosophy to you, were you like, wow?
I said, say that again. Literally, say that again. Because he sees things, and sometimes those that see things that others don't see explain them in a way that others don't grasp at first. And seeing is believing. And in this particular case, I have seen it, so I do believe it.
So if somebody's listening to this right now and they're like, man, I could do my own investing, but it feels like a stock, throwing a dart against the wall. I want to be a part of this. How do they get involved?
Well, with eQuine, most of what we do is for accredited investors.
Okay.
And that's the current round is $15 million for accredited investors. We did discuss doing a smaller private equity fund for smaller investors. That has yet to come to fruition. It's something that just came up in the last week. I would say that individual investors that try to manage their own assets in today's environment will have extreme difficulty. Everything's automated. You've got computers basically trading with computers. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a high-profile broker that's charging you 5%, but I absolutely recommend having some sort of certified financial planner, somebody that literally makes a living doing financial planning and helping individual investors manage their money.
And unfortunately, we've got like 20 seconds left, so give us the website so people can get more information.
It's equineholdings.com.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see everybody next week.